they are left out. I'll give you one example. In 2023, the university where I work, we filed 293, I think that's the number, patents in a single day. And that's a Limca Book of World Record. But after that record, where and what happens to those patents, we really don't have a great track to that. So in academics, I really feel that there needs to be a lot of support from the industry and some sort of policy reform also. That's one of the most, because when you are in the act of creation, at that point of time, you are really not concerned about, you really want to do protection of your creation and all that. And that's what really happens when students are learning in the design institutions. I myself, when I was studying, I was least bothered about how do I want to capitalize it and all that, because I thought this is part of my studies. So one of the examples that I can give, when I was at NID, there was, because that institute was governed by DPIIT, so there was a whole lot of thrust on IPR. So we thought we did a lot of sensitization workshop with the students and the faculties, but there were no response. I'll say zero response was there. Then I said let's do it differently. Let's try to look at all the student projects which they have done in last 3 years and invite an agency to audit them, how many of them are patent worthy. And that yielded a result. I think roughly 12 or 13, I exactly don't remember the number. They went to patent filing stage, and 2 of them got patent award also. So that gave a lot of confidence to the institute. But still, at the student level, there was no incentivization. So I think what Dr. Suchita was also talking about, some sort of incentivization, I think that is very important. Like at some point of time, we talked about corporate social responsibility as one of the important things. Similarly, IPR fund also should be mandated in the industry, and maybe we should have some sort of incentive for that. Another challenge in institutions, especially which are non-public funded institutions, is the crunch of capital. And secondly, this whole idea which is instilled in the learner and the institute also, that you have to place the students. So somewhere I think this needs to be tracked by the industry when you are offering placements, that how many students have ventured into some sort of patents and all that. How many, if there are something, you please incentivize it in terms of absorbing them. So I think that will give some sort of you can say momentum in academia. So I see these as one of the very critical areas which I feel can bring some momentum. Otherwise, in a country like India, coming on global index, as ma'am was saying, from 70 to 37, I think coming was relatively easy. That required a lot of political will and administrative push. But I think now the journey is very difficult. Here, the quality of patent, the focus on that is very, very important. So yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay. So again, very important. I think awareness becomes very critical. The earlier panel talked about, 2 of them said awareness is very critical. And very importantly, incentivization carrot is required, there's no doubt. What is important is we get about 17 lakh students, engineers graduated every year. Rather than trying to run behind companies, they need to build their own brand. And one of the way people can build their brand is being an inventor. And if you're an inventor, you don't need to go run behind companies. The companies would come behind you. So, wonderful. So we have, I go to Kirti now. So, by the way, we were told that we have to cut short this discussion, but I just want to make sure that I will have Kirti her time and then we will move forward. Because she has a very interesting responsibility if you look at. So, if you talk about, one of the points that we want to bring in is on the IP and innovation strategy, right? In commercialization. So my question to you, Kirti, is with commercialization as an end goal, how would someone define their IP strategy? So before I would request you to answer, how many inventors we have in the room? Any startups? Can you please raise hands? So very few, but I'm sure you would be absolutely fascinated to hear. Please introduce yourself as well, Kirti.
Thank you. So without wasting too much time in introducing myself, hi, I'm Kirti. I'm a lawyer and an IP lawyer trained originally as a mechanical engineer. So I've seen a little bit of both sides, of research, and now as I sit as a lawyer, I spend a lot of time on facilitating licensing and technology transfers and advising investors on risks associated with IP portfolios. So that's primarily my role. And I see that the startups that are seen as the best value propositions that are well on their way to commercialize their offerings are those that have these four things, four C's, which is I use as a checklist. One is that they have a culture, which means that they have thought through what their goal is as a company, as an enterprise, and this is especially important for public-funded research institutions. You must know what you are in it for. If your primary goal is furthering applied sciences and technologies, then you can go the open innovation route. If you are, a research institution that wants to encourage market-ready applications of certain technologies, then there is another way to go about it. So really, culture is one aspect. The second is the scope of your IP or the claims. Right, so the claims both in terms of any kind of IP, that's patents, designs, trademarks. What is the scope? Have you understood what the scope of your IP is, and what are the various types of IPs that you can aim for, which will give you a more holistic portfolio. So that's the second C, knowing your IP and being able to define the claims in a way that are ready for application. The next is contracts, and I'm keeping all of this very abbreviated given that we've also got a second call on time. The third really important aspect is your contracts and how you're managing your contracts. So that could be your invention assignment agreements, non-disclosure agreements, collaboration agreements, the scope. So companies that do their contracting really well are well ahead. And from the very beginning, if they're doing their contracting very well, they are well ahead in that aspect of commercializing their IPs. And finally, we come down to courts and claims and things like that. The best way to not end up in court is to think about court well in advance and all the risks related to your technologies. So, and I'd be happy to go into that in much more detail, but I'll give you the mic back, Kishan.
Yeah, I'm sure people know who to reach out. So it's basically 4 C's. So unfortunately, we are being crippled on both sides. We are very short panel discussion. But I hope, folks, it was meaningful for the time that you spent. Can I hear some responses? A big round of applause to the panel members because they did a great job. They made time for you to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, esteemed panelists, for inspiring words and for sharing your perspectives. I would request the panelists to please come forward for a group photograph, please. Thank you so much, panelists. We would immediately move to our very special highlight session of the day. I'll remove further, yeah, immediately. Immediately. Differentiate. A very good afternoon to distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We now move into our very special highlight session of the day, featuring the launch of the report on Innovation Excellence Evaluation Report for public-funded R&D organizations. To formally commence the session, may I now invite our esteemed dignitaries to kindly join us on dais. Professor Ajay Sood, sir, Principal Scientific Advisor, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Dr. Parvinder Maini, ma'am, Scientific Secretary, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Dr. Udayan Malhotra, CII National Committee on Design, Innovation and CEO and Managing Director, Dynamic Technologies Limited. Mr. Masood Malik, Chairman, CII National Committee on Waste to World Technologies and Managing Director and Group CEO of Resustainability Limited. Dr. Shaheen Majid, Vice Chairman, CII National Committee on Intellectual Property and Global CEO and Managing Director, Sami Sabinsa Group. Mr. B. N. Satpathiso, PSA Fellow, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Dr. Ashish Mohan, Executive Director, Confederation of Indian Industry. Mr. Janak Nabar, CEO, STIER. A very warm welcome to all our esteemed dignitaries, and thank you for joining us. I now request Dr. Ashish Mohan to kindly take the session forward. Over to you, please.
Thank you, and a very warm welcome to all of you, and a very warm welcome to Professor Ajay Sood and Dr. Mani, and to all the dignitaries. This is the culmination of an exercise which CII and CTIER got an opportunity from the Office of Principal Scientific Advisor, and we were so excited to do it. We have done our bit and look forward for further continued guidance from the Office of PSA on this work. I welcome you all to join us in this exclusive launch session to unveil and request Professor Ajay Sood to unveil in this session the report on Innovation Excellence and Evaluation Indicators of public-funded research labs, a work which was done spanning almost half of the public sector labs in India. All the strategic labs, I would say, got covered, and we'll come to those details. But I would like to welcome Dr. Udayan Malhotra, Mr. Masood Malik, Mr. B. N. Satpathy, my colleague Janak Nabar, and Dr. Shaheen Majid to join, and of course, Professor Ajay Sood and Dr. Mani to guide us during the session. I will request Dr. Udayan Malhotra to moderate the session further.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a true privilege on behalf of CII to welcome all of you to this important session where we will be launching the Innovation Excellence Indicators Report focused on public-funded R&D labs, which focuses on the role and performance of public-funded R&D labs. Today's launch is a vital moment in the ongoing effort to elevate India's innovation ecosystem, and we're excited to take this important step forward together. We are truly honored to have Professor Ajay Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, today with us. Professor Ajay Sood, your unwavering leadership and visionary approach have been instrumental in propelling India forward as a global innovation leader. We're deeply grateful for your leadership, guidance and support. I'm happy to welcome Dr. Parvinder Maini, Scientific Secretary, Government of India. You've been pivotal in guiding CII through numerous initiatives, including this very report. Additionally, I'd like to extend my warm welcome to our esteemed industry colleagues, Mr. Masood Malik, Dr. Shaheen Majid, and friends from CII and CTIER. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm confident that today's launch is not just a milestone in itself, but a call to action, a unique invitation for collaboration. This is an opportunity for all stakeholders, including policymakers, industry leaders, researchers, to work together in shaping a huge, robust innovation landscape for India. India's journey as an innovation powerhouse so far has been nothing short of remarkable. Over the last few decades, we've evolved from a nascent scientific landscape to become one of the world's largest and most dynamic innovation ecosystems. India's public research institutions have been crucial in driving India's innovation agenda. These labs serve as centers of excellence, pushing the frontiers of scientific discovery while addressing some of society's most pressing challenges. Through collaborations with academia, industry, and government, these labs create a unique synergy that allows India to solve problems at scale, offering solutions for national and global challenges. The Innovation Excellence Indicators Report launched today marks a valuable step in offering a structured approach to assessing and enhancing the performance of public-funded R&D labs. As India continues to strengthen its innovation ecosystem, the role of public-funded R&D labs will remain indispensable. As we look to the future, these labs will continue to be at the heart of India's transformation into a global leader in innovation and research. By embracing excellence and pushing the boundaries of innovation, they'll continue to be at the heart of India's transformation into a global leader in R&D. At CII, we remain steadfast in our commitment to supporting India's innovation journey. We aim to act as a bridge between industry, academia, and public research institutions to help realize India's full innovation potential. Our goal is to foster an ecosystem where collaboration and excellence thrive, enabling India to continue its upward trajectory in global innovation. Before I conclude, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the preparation of this report and express my gratitude to our distinguished speakers and attendees. Today is not just about launching a report. It's about setting the stage for future collaboration, innovation, and shared success. Together, let us build a more innovative, sustainable, and competitive India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Udyan. May I now request Mr. Masood Malik, the Chairman of Waste to Earth Committee of CII, to please address us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ashish, and a very good afternoon, everyone. It's a genuine privilege to be here today with all of you for the launch of the Innovation Excellence Indicators Report. It's a powerful step in our shared mission to embed innovation deeply across sectors and across our society. And we know this to be true, that innovation is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity, it's fundamental for competitiveness, it's fundamental for resilience, it's fundamental for our journey towards a more Viksit Bharat. And the most future-ready organizations today have this embedded in their core DNA. To put simply, to stand still is to be left behind. And therefore, we all recognize today that adapting and innovating are fundamental to our journey, our success. This is especially critical in the sectors of sustainability and in the circular economy space. Climate change, resource scarcity, ecological pressures, these are areas that are immensely complex, and they're forcing us to move beyond incremental change. What we need in order to respond to such fundamental challenges are breakthrough, regenerative innovation. But here lies the challenge. A lot of the breakthroughs that are required in areas of waste valorization, for example, or clean energy, or circular materials, they require foundational science and long-term R&D. They don't yield immediate returns. And therefore, private sector R&D, understandably, does not focus on some of these areas as it needs to. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the significance of public-funded R&D. Our national and global levers that respond to the kind of high-risk, high-reward research that transforms sector, that creates new industries, that then the public sector takes advantage of, the private sector thrives in. My friends, India is actually proving a point today. Despite having a lower R&D to GDP ratio than many of the developed nations, public R&D is actually powering some of the most important fundamental research in the country. In the space that I work in, the environmental space, one of the most innovative developments, which is a gas lift reactor developed by CSIR is an example. Or ISRO's Earth Observation Satellite Network, which is providing invaluable environmental intelligence to India Inc. And so many national missions like the Waste to Wealth mission or the Green Hydrogen mission, which are boldly investing in sustainable transformation. And this is true, incidentally, around the world as well. In Europe, the Horizon Europe program is a publicly funded program that is backing deep tech decarbonization technologies like long-duration batteries, sustainable fuels, in a way that are probably very difficult for private capital to back. What are common today? Hybrid cars, hydrogen fuel cells, recycling robots. All of these three innovations have incidentally come from public R&D funded by the Japan government. Point is that it's no longer an issue of binary, public versus private, when it comes to innovation. It's actually about collaboration. At CII's Waste to Worth initiative that I'm privileged to chair, we see this when we bring together publicly funded research, startups, and corporates. The public R&D sparks the ideas, and our partnerships scales those ideas. And that is why, friends, this report launch is so timely. The Innovation Excellence Indicators report is more than just a document. It's both a mirror and a map. It tells us where we are today, but it also helps us guide us where we need to go. My heartiest congratulations to the entire team who built this very rigorous and thoughtful framework. I genuinely believe that this report can guide targeted investment, especially, I hope, in high-impact areas related to sustainability and circular economy, encourage smarter collaboration across public, private, and academic ecosystems, elevate innovation standards across industries, and act actually as a springboard. Let's use it to ignite some bold conversations, craft some new alliances, and fuel the long-term research that India needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malik, for your address. May I now request Dr. Parvinder Mani, Scientific Secretary to the Office of Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India, for her special address. Dr. Mani.
Dignitaries on the dais, delegates, directors of our R&D labs, representatives, nodal officers, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very warm welcome to this event today. Now, at a time when India is scripting its vision of Viksit Bharat and is poised to be the fastest growing major economy over the next 3 years and the third largest globally by 2030, this report is very, very timely and it gains a lot of importance. And I'm really happy to be part of this launch. Now, recognizing that science, technology, innovation are the key pillars for the growth of any country, India embarked on a very, very bold and transformative journey to establish itself as a global hub of innovation, research, and scientific excellence to become Viksit Bharat at 2047. Now, of course, this includes a lot of interventions that have been done by India. This includes encouraging innovation and entrepreneurship, boosting domestic production with initiatives like Make in India and several PLI schemes. India's transformative journey that we all know of the digital public infrastructure, it underscores our commitment to provide scalable digital solutions not only within the country, but also internationally, especially for the global south. Then India's efforts towards sustainability and green growth to meet its net zero commitments show our intent to fight climate change. Investing in infrastructure and easing out the regulations to enable ease of doing business are other efforts that India has been undertaking. Now, we all know the recently launched ANRF at a total cost of 50,000 crores and the Research Development Innovation Fund of 1 lakh corpus. These are major steps that the Indian government has very recently taken up. Now, thus the STI landscape of the country is continuously evolving, and there are many players who have contributed and are continuously contributing towards this effort. And in this, of course, as India's most of the research funding comes from public funds, so the R&D labs of Government of India play a very, very pivotal role in the growth trajectory of research and innovation landscape of the country. Therefore, it's of course an honor, as I said, to be part of this launch of this report, which is, we termed it as Evaluation of Innovation Excellent Indicators of Public Funded R&D Labs. Now, this is an initiative under the direction of the Prime Minister's Office, and this study, of course, as has been told earlier, it was supported by the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor, and it was undertaken by CII and CTIER, Pune, and basically to evaluate, realign, and accelerate the contribution of our public R&D institutions to the national mission. Of course, this report is in continuation to the earlier report that we had taken out in 2022, which was basically focused to improve, focused to improve the outcomes of the R&D labs and also infuse a sense of competition among them. The round 2 evaluation, of course, initiated in early 2024, has adopted a more holistic approach to understand the multidimensional nature of innovation excellence. It combines rigorous quantitative indicators with qualitative assessments. Several stakeholders meetings were done with the directors of the lab. Of course, we wrote letters to the ministries, we interacted with the nodal officers, and also the main ministry itself to bring out the importance of this exercise. In all, there were 244 labs from 21 ministries which participated. In other words, what I want to elaborate here is that the scale in which the study was undertaken probably make it the most comprehensive exercise globally in benchmarking innovation performance across a large and diverse public R&D ecosystem. Now, the report, of course, covers 62 parameters that are categorized across socio-economic impact, STI excellence, and organizational effectiveness based on the basic framework that was initially prepared by Niti Aayog. Now, to understand how our R&D labs are enabling India achieve the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat, the labs were assessed on multiple parameters. We had questions related to how the labs are supporting the deep tech startups. We had questions whether the labs are carrying out research in sustainability and green innovation to capture their alignment with the national goals. Focus on emerging technology patents and opening access to external collaborators, both nationally and internationally, including startups, students, with other parameters that were considered. Data on enhanced support for women and early career scientists was also taken basically to support DEIA, that is diversity, equity, inclusivity, and accessibility initiatives within, of course, the R&D framework. We saw that most of the labs responded to these national priorities, thus creating an interconnected innovation environment. The report also, of course, contains a special focus on a section which is dedicated to the R&D labs in the Northeast, showcasing the region's scientific contribution, thus bringing in regional perspectives. We have a chapter on startups and incubators that shows how public labs are increasingly becoming launchpads for entrepreneurial scheme, supporting Section 8 companies, enabling spin-outs, and even tracking startup exits. The report also identifies top-performing labs across selected indicators, offering just not benchmarking, but also peer inspiration for others to learn and adapt. Now, bringing 244 labs from 21 ministries is not an easy task. It was actually very, very challenging. And to overcome this, I would say our partners, the CII and CTIER, actually convened multiple stakeholder consultations to ensure robust and inclusive input, reflecting cross-departmental alignment and shared ownership. Thus, the study, as is already told by previous speakers, not only captures the innovation indicators of the labs, but also it gives an opportunity for the labs to understand what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses and how to improve upon them. One of the clear indicators that have emerged from the report is that there is a need for targeted intervention to ensure that we collectively improve the R&D ecosystem in the country to performance-linked, outcome-based funding and evaluation. It is also a call for the policymakers to bring in certain reforms in the way we nurture science, the way we do science, and also the way we deliver science. Lastly, of course, I would like to place on record my due appreciation from the Office of PSA, on behalf of the Office of PSA, to both the Confederation of Indian Industry and the Center for Technology, Innovation and Economic Research, Pune, for the partnership and support in conducting this study. I also wish to acknowledge the unstinted support given by the directors of the labs, the secretaries of various ministries, the nodal officers who have actually come forward and participated in this whole exercise. Without the support, this was not possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mani. Indeed, very encouraging words for us, and thank you for your address. May I now have the privilege to request Professor Ajay Sood, the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, to give his keynote address, please. Professor Sood.
A very good afternoon. It is indeed a privilege to be present here amongst the dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, very eminent gathering of leaders from industry, policy makers, science institutes, and so on. This is also significant because we are meeting at a very pivotal moment when India's innovation ecosystem is poised to redefine its global standing. we know that we have made steady progress in our Global Innovation Index in the last few years. We are now at 39, and we need to see how we really take it up, in sense up, but it is actually, it has to improve from 39. At least we should move towards 20 in the next few years. Now, also as mentioned a few minutes back, that our spending on R&D, GERD, which is about 0.7% of GDP, is more or less there for the last many years. It is not because the funding has not gone up, it is because our GDP has gone up also. So the ratio has become, has remained 0.7%, but in actual terms, the funding has almost doubled in the last 5 years. In this, again, which is a well-known fact, that only about 35% or a little less comes from private sector, and majority of the funding is from government sector, and that too central government. State government involvement is also quite modest. Now, in this framework, the public R&D organizations, they form the bedrock of India's scientific and technological progress. And they are not just knowledge generators, but also key enablers of innovation that fuels economic growth, societal transformation, national self-reliance, national self-defense, and so on. Now, these institutions have consistently contributed to India's global standing, what we see now. These organizations will continue to play rather, a catalyzing role in technology-driven economy, empowering industries. I hope it will happen more with time, and society to build a prosperous future for all of us. Now, this report is not just the compilation of the data, but it is also strategic review in a way that we must examine and analyze how well our public funding labs are aligned with India's ambition for a resilient, inclusive, and technology-driven future. We need to look at this report from all these lenses in coming days. Now, as was mentioned, this is a improvement, much more than the report, the first phase, which came out about 1.5 to 2 years back. And this is not simply more of the same, but many more matrices were added to this, and much more significant indicators have been listed. And now it has 244 labs with 62 parameters. Now, it has, of course, the labs which were earlier there, but there are almost 80 labs, with 80 institutions which have been added. All of this you will hear in more detail in a presentation which will follow very soon. Now, this also, as I said, these indicators have few new things, like inclusivity, women participation, and so on. But all these are factors really to see how do we enhance our innovation ecosystem, where R&D labs can play a very important role along with other stakeholders like academia and industry. Now, there are good things which have emerged from this 2.0 report 2.0, that more and more labs are transitioning from being centers of scientific inquiries to engines of innovation, incubation, and national development. So this has come out very clearly as we went from the first report to the present one. So this is quite pleasing. So we need to also see what this report says about how they have facilitated the spin out, startup spin out, because that is one parameter which has been captured. How the successful startup exits have been tracked. How are they supporting it? All these things are, I would say, work in progress. Really, it has to really accelerate with time. This is something which we hope industry will take it very seriously, because this is one data set which will be very, very important for industry to see what our R&D labs are doing. And important thing is that this report is searchable. So you don't have to go from page 1 to page 200 and look for the solution. I hope it is as searchable as I wished in my last 2 meetings. I have had number of meetings with the group, and we have insisted on few things, thanks to their patience and their hard work, that they have agreed to look into all the aspects, because I do not want this report to sit in the shelves alone. Of course, shelves are important because they take care of the history, but more important is that before this report becomes obsolete, probably in 3 years or 2 years, we should get some message out of it. If we can see, because of this report, some industries came forward and collaborated with our national labs, I will say our purpose is served. Because this is something I request all of you, and there couldn't be a better platform than CII. We have tied up with CII for a number of years, and this is where we need your support. We need to see how proactively you can see, supposing you want to do something in automobile or some other sector, pharma or something, if you can see this report is useful by seeing who are the researchers who can really tie up or approached. I think that is the purpose of this report. It's not only just putting the data, and my hope is that in coming days, or rather coming weeks, I was about to say weeks, but then I said it's too late. Coming days, we will do some AI-based analysis on sector-specific preparedness of our R&D labs. Let's do that together. Let us see how we can bring out this data in a more digestible form so that this report really becomes very, very useful. Because very often we hear that the information is not available, and they rush to foreign universities for collaboration, and probably they don't know what is happening here. So my request is that please analyze, look at this data with the lens of collaboration and enhancing the innovation ecosystem. This purpose will be the ideal one if we can get that. And with this AI tools available, my hope is that we can do this exercise sooner than later. So this is a challenge or a task I am giving to all of you, that let's come out with some actionable items, because there are so many things happening in our incubation system. Take any sector, and in that, out of our 242 institutions, right, or 244, whatever you have covered, I'm sure we will have experts in this field. So my hope is that let's do it sooner than later. And before I forget, I must congratulate all the people, CII and their CTIER and of course, team from our office who have been interacting very closely. Again, a good model for collaborative effort, which has resulted in this outcome. And my hope is that this will be useful to all of us for whatever purpose, collaboration, indicators, our road forward, how do we, what are the gaps, all this I hope it will open the conversation, it will spark our imagination, and it will impact the ecosystem in which we are. And once again, thank you very much for having us here, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was indeed very inspiring, and thank you for all the encouragement that you have given to us. We have taken a note of this, this exciting opportunity of developing an AI-based tool to take forward the analytics. And as you rightly say, we have the competence with us in this room itself. We'll definitely build on it and come back to you. Thank you very much. We now go into the launch ceremony, which is like unveiling of the report, for which I will request my colleague Nitish to take it forward from here. Nitish.
Thank you so much. We now move forward. May I now request all the esteemed dignitaries to please come forward for the launch, please. May I have the reports, please? Thank you so much, sir, and dignitaries for the launch. Thank you. We have a small video featuring key highlights of the report. May we have the video, please? Thank you. I now request Dr. Ashish Mohan to please take forward the presentation.
Thank you. Can we have the presentation on the screen? We have actually covered the stuff, and sir has already guided us. We will, in interest of time, will be very fast, sir. And to give us an overall context and our approach, the operational approach, may I request Mr. Satpathy to tell us about the work as well. Mr. Sir.
Respected Prof Ajay Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor, Dr. Parminder, many dignitaries and dais, ladies and gentlemen. I'll briefly introduce the subject and give an overview of what the report says and what the report doesn't say. Both are important. The first thing is there are 4 parts to it. Why did the Office of PSA get engaged in this study? Second, how was the study completed? What was the statistical process in that? And then the broad contents of that, which will be presented shortly to you. And the fourth one, what next? As PSA has said, what next we should do. Now, coming to the background to this, in the round 1 study, there was a clear message that the framework developed by Niti Aayog, which is the basis for the evaluation, will be tested with a second round of study. So that was one reason for that. The second reason was that the learnings from the first round should get captured in the second round. So that is these are the 2 major reasons why the round 2 was initiated in the Office of PSA. Then what was the major learning of the first round? The major learning of the first round was that it is not possible to get the data in the right quantity, in the right quality, at the right time from so many labs which are scattered across the country. That was a major challenge. And in the round 2, when it was initiated, we tried to address that. And one of the most innovative things that was the institutional arrangement was a group of stakeholders from the ministries who will be there, and it was led by the Scientific Secretary. I must thank Scientific Secretary for leading that group, without which the data submission process would have taken an indefinite time, and without data there is no report. So this was the first thing that happened. The second thing was that a panel of experts was constituted, it was not there in the round 1, who were instrumental in getting the study report baited, modified, in whatever they were. The list of experts' names also will be shown to you. The third thing was relating to where do you go from here? This is the next thing. Now we have 244 labs with 21 ministries, 62 indicators. Now the issue is when these labs are not in the strategic sectors. So this report does not cover strategic sectors, DRDO, atomic energy, because they voluntarily withdrew from the first round. Second thing is what does it cover? It covers the economic sector, the agricultural sector, industrial sector, infrastructure sector, social sector, regulatory sectors, and these are the important climate, oceans, these are the sectors they are covering. So this is a very comprehensive coverage except the strategic sectors. The other one, what the report says, it doesn't rank. Please note that there is no ranking of 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. That is not the purpose of this exercise. And that is very important for us to. Now having said this, now before the presentation comes, what do you propose to do next? As Professor Sood has been saying, that we will try to get insights which are actionable in this. And I am happy to share with you, sir, today morning I got a call from DP, Department of Public Enterprise, that you are releasing a report on innovation indicators. Can we look at that and include that in their public enterprise survey, which is the 64th edition of 2023-24? There are 57 public sector enterprises who incur R&D expenditure. So this is something that we are going to do immediately after this, that we are sharing this report with them, for them to take a call on the indicators that which they can be included in their survey in the next one, 2024-25. The other things are relating to startups, relating to sustainability, technologies, which will go deep into. So this is something, a phenomenal work has been done. It is a data of 66,000 data points, including the round 1 and round 2. Round 2 is 30 and there is 36. Each data point is very relevant in the current ecosystem, and we will be examining each one of them for policy inputs and all that. Then secondly, we will be trying to share this copy of the report with the international organizations. Many workshops will be there in some select cities, and then we will try to see that this report doesn't go down like any other reports like that. Thank you so much. I'll now please look at the report presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Satpathy. A small logistics announcement, actually. You know that Director General of the World Intellectual Property Organization is going to address us at 5 p.m. And because of the Delhi Police protocol, there will be an inspection of the area outside. So this is to inform that don't get into a panic mode in case you see some sniffer's dog moving around here. Everything is very much planned and in control. But in interest of time, we will have to skip the presentation, but we will share the PDF of the presentation with all of you so that you can go through the details. We will save the time, and I will directly request my colleague Janak to take 2 minutes and say something about the work that CIIER did with us. And then I will request Mr. Shaheen to give vote of thanks. Janak.
Thank you, Ashish, Professor Sood, Dr. Maini, and all the dignitaries on the dais and in the audience. We're sorry that we can't do the presentation, so I've pulled the report out. I do hope that each of you will actually make use of it. As the call was made here that we all need to act together in transforming India's innovation ecosystem. Just to bring out a few highlights of the laboratories that were covered, we know that about 240, close to 240 were covered in the study, of which they account for nearly about 35% of the central government R&D expenditure. The strategic labs were not included in this exercise. The total number of scientific staff that were participating in the study from these various labs were about 31,667. What we found is that over the last few years, you do see an increase in hiring, but a lot of that hiring is happening in the contractual space. And this is something which, we would hope that increasingly we also see a lot more women scientists participate in our ecosystem. Currently, about 29%, the median share of women researchers across all these labs is about 29%. This, of course, varies from lab to lab, but the good news is that almost 60% of them are researchers below the age of 40. We need to increase that share of women participation. We do see in the higher education space, degrees awarded would account for almost 50% are women, but when it comes to women in the scientific workforce, you do see that this drop-off taking place. So we do hope that labs would take measures to address this. We also see a lot of the call to action for labs to actually open up their research facilities. About 113 of the labs, participating labs, have opened up their facilities. This is a great move, especially when we think about the potential for the hub and spoke models or the ANRF funding, which will require collaborations between industry, the labs, and these higher education institutions. And finally, if you look at the IPR output, about 966 across different IPRs, whether it's patents, copyrights, trademarks, all of that were granted to these labs. Of course, the study does say that there's a lot of room for improvement, but this is a step in the right direction. So please do take the message put out here that take it seriously, and we hope that we can all engage in strengthening the ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Janak, and what a journey it has been for both of us in taking this work under guidance of Office of PSA. Thank you. May I now request Dr. Shaheen to give a vote of thanks. Dr. Shaheen is co-chairman of our IP committee.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. On behalf of CII, it is my privilege to extend my vote of thanks and heartfelt gratitude to the esteemed dignitaries for gracing the launch of the Innovation Excellence Evaluation Report for public-funded R&D organizations at this summit today. I would like to begin by thanking Professor Ajay Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, for not only being with us today, but also for giving the CII the opportunity to lead this important initiative. Sir, your visionary leadership continues to shape India's science, technology, and innovation agenda with purpose and impact. We at CII are always grateful for your continued guidance and support. My sincere thanks to Dr. Pravindra Mani, Scientific Secretary, for her unwavering support and leadership throughout this journey. May your guidance and leadership has been instrumental in bringing this project to life. A special thank you to Mr. B.N. Satapathy for your exceptional dedication and consistent guidance to CII and CTIER teams. You have been a mentor in shaping the vision and execution of this study. A special thank you to my friends from industry, Dr. Udayan Malhotra, Mr. Masood Malik, for their insightful remarks earlier today. Their perspectives have grounded this dialogue in real-world imperatives and emphasized the importance of linking public sector R&D to enterprise and sustainability. I would like to reiterate that the Innovation Excellence Evaluation Report released today is both a diagnostic and a directional tool. This report does not merely evaluate or assess institutions, it encourages them to collaborate, to cross-learn. It's indeed a catalyst for change. This study has strong potential to serve as a national enabler of innovation excellence. It offers an opportunity to create a networked ecosystem where labs mentor each other and encourage to grow through collaboration. I wish to convey my sincere appreciation and gratitude to all our stakeholders from the publicly funded R&D ecosystem who have been engaged in this study over the past year. From the various central government ministries to the individual laboratories from every corner of the country. Thank you for your immense and active contributions to this important national effort. Your commitment has been critical in shaping the outcomes of this initiative. My heartfelt compliments to CII, CTIER team for their dedication in completing this gigantic and significant exercise. These collective efforts shall go a long way in helping us to build a vibrant, future-ready innovation ecosystem. Together, we have unlocked another important milestone in India's journey to becoming a global innovation powerhouse. Thank you and congratulations to all.
Thank you, Dr. Majid. Thank you, everyone. And before we close this session, we have two photographs to be taken. One, sir, may we request a group photograph with all the nodal officers? And before that, one of the DIAS members as well. Kindly requesting the DIAS members to come forward for a group photograph.
I would request the nodal officer of the respective laboratories who were involved in the making of this report to come up for a group photograph, please. Representatives.
May I request the CII team as well who were involved in the project?
Thank you so much, panel members. Before we begin the next session, we have a 10-minute break, a tea break. I would request all the delegates to please have it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the session. We will have to vacate the room for 10 minutes for Delhi Police to do the logistics parts, while we request Professor Sood to go ahead for the media interaction. Thank you.
Hello.
No, we will just put everything back. A very good afternoon to all the distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our next panel discussion on R&D partnerships, building co-innovation ecosystems. The session will explore the frameworks, best practices, and success stories behind effective R&D collaborations and how we all can contribute to shape a more vibrant innovation ecosystem. To formally commence the session, may I now invite our esteemed dignitaries to kindly join us on stage. Dr. Hafsa Ahmed, Scientist D, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Dr. Vibha Malhotra Sahne, Scientist H, CSIR Headquarters. Mr. P.S. Jain, Corporate Technology Officer, Carborundum Universal Limited, and former Board of Director, CUMI Middle East Europe. Dr. Umesh Srivastav, Executive Director, Technology Promotion and Forecasting, Indian Oil Corporation Limited. May I have your presence, please, on the dais. Thank you, esteemed speakers, for joining us. It is now my pleasure to invite Dr. Hafsa Ahmed, Scientist D, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, to take the session forward, please.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us here. A very good evening to all of you. The launch of the report on the Innovation Excellence Evaluation for public-funded R&D institutions sets the tone for this very important panel discussion, where we intend to delve deeper into understanding the role of these organizations in driving excellence in R&D, and the significance of cultivating stronger alliances and partnerships for co-development of the innovation ecosystem in the country. Collaborating effectively is key to deliver solutions through R&D. Therefore, this session will explore the role of organizations, academic institutes, government, industry, and other stakeholders in shaping the ecosystem through effective partnerships. With this very brief introduction, I would like to introduce the esteemed panel for this discussion. We are pleased to be joined by Professor Kamal Kishore Pant, Director, IIT Roorkee, on stage with us. Dr. Vibha Malhotra Sahne, Outstanding Scientist with the CSIR. Mr. P.S. Jain, CTO at the Carborundum Universal Limited. And Dr. Umesh Srivastav, ED, Technology Promotion and Forecasting, IOCL. Welcome to the session, respected speakers. And I would now invite you all for making your brief opening remarks on how do you see the current innovation ecosystem and what, according to you, are the building blocks of this ecosystem. So I'd go on to you, ma'am, first, Dr. Vibha, for the opening remarks.
Thank you. And okay, I hope I am audible. I'm loud enough though. So in the CSIR system, what we do is, right at the initial stage of R&D, once we foresee that, okay, now we are leading to some kind of maybe a proof of concept and all. That's the time when we look around for collaborations, and also how we can position our know-how, our knowledge base, in the S&T ecosystem as well as the knowledge ecosystem that's around. And based on that, of course, we do explore collaborations. And CSIR, although we are a one legal entity, however, our labs are free to explore partnership with industry, both in India and abroad. And of course, we do have our processes and all in place for this purpose. So that's what we do, right? Right at the time when we are exploring, either we are initiating some kind of R&D in a new domain. That's when we also do the brainstorming and all to see where should our focus be. That's the first thing. And then again, during this course of R&D itself, we do explore partnerships, and also time to time we do go back to the stakeholders just to see whether we are in the right direction or do we need to make some kind of a mid-course correction. Of course, I won't say that this is a kind of a foolproof mechanism, but broadly this is what the mechanism is that is followed across all CSIR labs. So I'm happy to say that even in the IPs that we have, even the ones in force and all, there are many which we file jointly with our partners, be it from the academia or industry. And of course, then we go forward in trying to valorize them and take them further. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Those were really deep insights into what CSIR does in terms of partnerships and ecosystem. I now go on to Professor Pant. From you, we'd like to hear on the innovation ecosystem and its building blocks.
So, good evening to all of you, and thank you, Dr. Ajay for asking this question, and thanks for CII also for providing me the opportunity to be here. Having said that, as you know that in the previous session, there was one inaugural also, and a very important theme when we talk about what could be or what should be the R&D ecosystem and how the industries and academia and the role of in terms of the policy makers is in terms of the development of R&D ecosystem. So as all of you know that now a lot of changes have come. If you look at the past 20 years, and now the investment in R&D has increased a lot, and now the education system has been changed and it is now transformational. So when you talk about the National Education Policy 2020, the course curriculum has been revised in such a way that there should be a connectivity with the practical application of the course. So the role of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and relevance towards the sustainability, which is very, very important, that has come in the education system. When you talk about this, how R&D, the key features of this R&D, then globalization is a very, very important. So research has crossed the borders. So it's a kind of multidisciplinary research and interdisciplinary research. The branches of science, engineering, technology, mathematics, management, all have to join hands in order to make it transformational, because the community connection for the developed technology is very, very important. Business model should be there, that is very, very important. Acceptance of this society as per the concept of sustainability, like clean conversion technology. So a lot of things are coming up in that way, carbon capture, conversion, green hydrogen, e-vehicles. So that is, I think, where the industry and academia are connecting and coming together. So the students have been asked to visit the industries, do their internship with the problems which are related to industry, and internationalization, that is outreach of this, right, very, very important also. So whatever the policies which have been, right, taken by, say, most of these developed countries, that is also being adopted already. The R&D budget, all of you know now, it has gone to a level of 1.25 lakh crore. So that is, I think, already it shows that how the R&D ecosystem has been changed in the country, and how the multidisciplinary, multi-institutes are coming together. From startups, right, when you look at, right, ideas to innovation has come into the picture. Lot of startups are being developed in the institutes with the support of the industrial partners, and that is, I think, the new wage of the R&D. And ecosystem, as I said, sustainability is very, very important there when they're developing the technology. The concept of the economy, environmental sustainability, the relevance towards the right technology, where we talk about minimization of the waste, circular economy concept, that has already come. So this is what I feel.
Thank you, Professor Pant. I also feel and second that these recent adaptations about the sectors that you mentioned are very important in light of the new NEP. And moving forward, sustainability is going to be a very important aspect. Over to you, Dr. Srivastava, for your opening remarks, please.
Yeah, good evening, and thanks CII for having me on this panel. Yes, so far as the ecosystem of innovation and R&D in our country is concerned, we have seen some exciting and interesting developments that has happened in the last 10 years, if I can say so. The first thing that comes to my mind is the startup ecosystem, which was not there at least till 10 years ago, but now we can see a lot of startup coming in. The second indicator that I can cite here is the number of patents that are being filed in our country. I understand about 5 years ago it was hovering around 50,000 in numbers per year. Now it is reaching more than about 1 lakh or something. So these are some indicators which show us that yes, there is an ecosystem of R&D which is undergoing a transformation in a country for the good, and that is bound to happen when you have a president who devises a slogan of Jai Anusandhan from the rampart of the Red Fort. Definitely that was the one occasion where every scientist, every R&Dian in the country felt very proud of the work that he has been doing in whichever field that he was. And I'm sure the ecosystem will evolve. Of course, when we compare ourselves with some of the very developed countries of the world, we still have a lot of catch-up to do, a lot of spade work to do, but we are firmly on our path. So far as your question on the building blocks for the ecosystem, I would say that most important is, and that has happened because of the startup ecosystem and the patenting that has increased, and of course the governmental push which is coming in, which is a strategic foresight. The researcher is no more a researcher who was earlier only doing his research in the lab. They are getting more avenues to come out and apply their research in various applications in whichever field of economy they are into. The second building block would be operational excellence in terms of not only the quality of research, but also conversion of that research into a sellable product for the masses. And third, of course, is that culture of continuous improvement, because what is relevant today may not be relevant tomorrow. Dr. Pant has mentioned some of the upcoming areas like green hydrogen or carbon capture technologies. Where we are today and where some of the world's best technologies in terms of these two areas are concerned, we have to actually do a continuous benchmarking, and that hunger to improve has to be continuously there. And of course, lastly, I would say researchers cannot do anything alone. They have to be a holistic 360-degree collaboration that has to happen, which is happening now, but it has to increase more and more if we have to catch up with the world's best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And you very wonderfully put it in context of the clarion call by the Honorable PM himself, and what you mentioned about the building blocks completely makes sense. We'd like to also hear from Mr. Jain on his vision of the innovation ecosystem and its building blocks.
First of all, thanks to CII for giving me an opportunity to be here. At the outset, India's position is promising as far as innovation ecosystem is concerned. Some of the indicators, as mentioned by previous speakers, the gross expenditure on R&D has grown by double during the last 1 decade. And almost 45% of the funding is done by central government. So it's a big initiative and it's a very strategic move by Government of India. 67% of the investments are happening through 16 institutes. So this is, from one angle, it's good that you are creating some kind of excellence. But a question that comes up is, should we increase the talent pool? So this is something which at some point of time has to be considered. Third thing I would say, the number of patents has increased almost 20 times during the last 1 decade. But are they really getting into the commercial space? The answer would be it's not. So inventions are happening, but the research is not translating into market-ready products. So this is something which we have to really improve. And to address this, collaboration is key. In 2016, Atal Innovation Mission was started, and today you see almost 3,500 startup companies connected to the AIM program. We have also heard that today also it was announced that 1 lakh crore corpus fund is being provided for innovation in India. And there are a lot of collaborations happening between countries to address innovations. Recently, we also came to know that Israel and India are joining hands to invest about $40 million US. So, a lot of good initiatives are there, and things are progressing very well. We need to create robust systems to reap the benefit. So, this is something on the ecosystem. And building block, I would say, the knowledge lies in institutes as well as research centers. So we really want to have systems to tap this. Second would be human resources. Right from innovation to invention up to entrepreneurship. So there should be a pipeline of manpower available from scientists to entrepreneurs. Third would be the financial capital. We are hearing a lot about the funding possibilities, and that is the way to go about. Fourth pillar would be support on IP protection as well as licensing. There should be a flexible system considering the kind of innovation involved to assign IPs as well as licensing of that. Fifth most important would be a collaboration to tap the benefits from all the four pillars. So these are the key things that will drive innovation.
Thank you, Mr. Jayan. That was very nicely put, and we understand that all that you've mentioned in terms of funding, HR, and the other two pillars you mentioned are fundamental in terms of placing the ecosystem in place. With that understanding, I'd like to move ahead with the first question, and I would direct that question to Dr. Vibha, to you, ma'am. Considering your long association with CSIR, we would like to hear from you that how do you see publicly funded institutions contributing to excellence in R&D and eventually to India's goal of becoming a developed nation, especially in the context of the Viksit Bharat Vision 2047. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Publicly funded institutions, I would say, have very good, they are a very good source of knowledge power today in the country. And we have, people from across the spectrum of the country, the entire spectrum. They are there in some institution or the other. And publicly funded institutions are not only involved in development of the knowledge base, but also training of the manpower. The manpower which is ultimately, used even in the industry. So that is the kind of work which these publicly funded institutions are doing. But if you say that, I'd say the lacuna here, or otherwise, Dr. Jain did talk about the financial capital. You see, all of them are funded by the government of India or the state governments. And obviously, government funding for R&D, that's not their main focus. Their main focus is always, to act as a welfare state. So this is where we should be sourcing funding from industry as well. I won't say only for specific areas or any such thing, but also some kind of a philanthropic, funding just to build up that basic resource base of a scientifically oriented manpower, starting from the students to maybe the scientists, who would then take us, forward in this, in our journey of innovation. Publicly funded institutions, as I said, can play a role there in training the manpower, in developing knowledge base, even focusing on, more, in fact, forecasting, and then working towards developing newer technologies in different areas, and kind of exploring different areas, which industry as such cannot do. They cannot afford to do open-ended research. Whereas you see the colleges and the universities, systems, and all so on and so forth, there's already this entire line which is in place for doing this kind of research, so that we could focus on futuristic technologies ultimately as well. Yeah, so this is exactly where we need, and I think something like ANRF, the way it has been built and the way it is now taking shape, I think this will play a very major role. So it's both partnership, financial partnership between the government as well as the industry that's really going to take us forward. That being the, the building block, finance, you cannot do anything without finance. So once that is available, then of course, we'll play a major role. The publicly funded institutions will play a major role in developing the manpower, as well as working, in the open innovation system, as well as open-ended research towards futuristic research. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Vibha. So as we understand, it's important that the publicly funded institutions go on pursuing their mandates, but at the same time, we need newer financial models with industry partnership to take national priorities ahead.
Exactly. That's really important today. Sure. So the industry has to loosen its purse strings. even for open-ended R&D as well, not only focusing in the direction of their their interest.
Sure. Thank you. So in the same line of thought, let us also contemplate and understand that how can we better align the objectives of public R&D with the needs of the industry and society to drive meaningful and scalable innovations. I would love to consider both point of views to this question, the industry and the public institutions' point of view. So first, I'd quickly invite Dr. Srivastav to give us the public perspective to this question. And maybe then we'll quickly go to Mr. Jain to respond to that.
If you can please repeat that question.
So, if you can just tell us that how we better align the objectives of publicly funded R&D with the needs of the industry so as to drive scalable and meaningful innovations.
See, I'll take this question and I like to answer it because of the very fact that I myself have very recently come out with one of the product which I call as one of the most innovative clean cooking solution in the world, which is the indoor solar cooking system under the brand name Surya Nutan, and I've learned a lot from that. And to tell you very frankly, researchers are very afraid of coming out from the lab and testing the waters in the field. It is a very, very scary situation. Unless the ecosystems are ready for the research to be adopted in the field, you have to do very hard work, extremely lot of struggle is there. I, coming from an organization which is investing almost 500 crores into research, which is Indian Oil, my company, but still when we have developed this product, we have to actually walk the difficult path of commercializing it. And I think the litmus test for any research is a commercialization of the innovation. So I'm sure the sentiments in the public is that when the product comes out, it has to be 100% perfect, but that is one sentiment. When you actually see everything around you that you are using today in the name of the product, these products are undergoing continuous improvement, continuous upgradation, be it our iPhones or be it the cars that we drive or anything that we are using in our day-to-day lives. So that sentiment keeps changing, and the researcher has to understand, the developer and the innovator has to understand that he has to have that knack of what I say Kaizen, the culture of continuous improvement, so that it's a two-way process, getting feedback from the users and then going back to the drawing board, again developing a product or innovating something and again bringing it to the field. So that's a very difficult job to do, but that is what makes the difference between a good ecosystem and a weak ecosystem.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jain, your views?
It's no interesting topic. I would say industry is closer to the market and they know the trends better. So whenever such public funded R&D comes up, there should be a core definition including the industries into the team, so that many of the areas, see the knowledge definitely, the skills as well as the kind of opportunities derived by the research institute will be very good, but at the same time to bring it to shape for a market ready product, it is better to take inputs from industries in the very early stage. So this is something, some integration which has to take place during the initial part of the project itself. Second would be in many cases, the research get stuck at TRL 3 or TRL 6. So translational research hubs are key to successfully drive it to the completion. So this is something which will help accelerating the product to market. Third point will be IP and licensing. There will be the knowledge residing in the research institutes. However, the way to the market might be defined or made easier by the inputs from industry. So there will be opportunities for creating IP, joint IPs to again address the right product at right price to the market. And fourth point I would say is incentivize market validated outcomes rather than looking at patents and publications. So I think the scientists have to be incentivized based on market validated outcomes.
Thank you. I think you've captured it really well, ma'am. Any quick response to that from the public R&D side?
No, what he said, what Mr. Jain said was very right. As I said earlier, open-ended research is, good, just to start exploring and all. But once one has, the research has reached a particular stage where we know that, yes, we can convert this into some kind of a know-how and all, it's always better to go back to the industry, see what the market need is, and then work along with the industry, because ultimately it is the industry that's going to, take it forward to the market. It is not an R&D institution which is going to do that. So that is a very right model, and I'm glad to see that, now many R&D organizations are working towards this end, getting good feedback from industry and then working along with industry. So as I said earlier, even in our case, we have many joint patents with industry, because that is where, we have co-developed the technology towards its product development. So that's very much needed. And I think that's the way India has to move forward in this innovation space. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Before I ask a question to Professor Pant, sir, any quick thoughts, since you're at the helm of affairs of one of the premier academic institutes, what do you like to say on this early integration, how that is important and how do you see it with the industry?
Yeah, I think this is very pertinent question, and which has been raised. The important thing is that there should be a kind of good interaction between industry and academia. And now the research problem should be directly relevant to the society, relevant to the industry. Then there will be an impact of that research. And education system has given the opportunity that now students should go to the industry, spend the time. So they should invest the time, say 3 months to 6 months or even a year, and then take the problem, learn the things from there, and then come back and again work on those problems. So if the problems are industrial specific, I think this will build the trust also between industry and the academia, which is the need of the hour. Also, the research and the education will become the transformation. This is what I am saying, and this is what is, I think, the envisaged by the National Education Policy 2020. Most of the things are already being done now. Like many industries, they put the research problems on their portal, right? And the academic institutes just select those problems, and then they interact with them. And sometimes these problems are supported by the industry. So this is a kind of win-win situation for both industry and academia, and this is also increasing the collaborations between industry and academia. So I think this is what I want, and this should be done.
Thank you, sir. I think this very rightly gives the answer to the question that for building trust, this early integration and cohesiveness between the two sides is very important for together achieving the outcomes that are desirable. In the same line of thought and trying to comprehend, let us also explore the best practices and the global scenarios in innovation So, sir, I would invite you to tell us about some of the best practices from the global R&D ecosystem that you think that we should adopt to strengthen our own public R&D institutions.
Okay, thank you for this question. But I won't say that we should adopt from anybody from outside, because we are nowadays self-sufficient. We know what is to be done. Having said that, right, why we lagged in terms of the transformational research, right? Why we did not have the startups earlier, and now we have more than 1 lakh startups in the country. The success and failure rate is different. I will not come to that point. But things have changed exponentially. This is what I will say. And when you talk about the role models, what we used to say earlier, like US, right? Then Israel, they have a couple of these kind of R&D policy. Then Germany, they have Fraunhofer research groups, right? Where a lot of these kind of R&D relevant to the industry is being done. Then Singapore, they have, right, a kind of high award, high risk. So I think already these policies are being done now, taken. And now the most of the research projects which are sponsored, even by the Department of Science and Technology or CSIR or now ANRF, right, they are based on 1+1 scheme. So it means for every research project, there will be one industrial partner, and that is also not a kind type, but cash subscription that is also has been implemented. So this is giving a kind of, right, the monitoring, time-bonded monitoring of the research project, which is already being practiced in most of the, right, other part of the world, because there the most of the research PhD problems are given by the industry, and they are supported financially by the industry. And this is one of the, I think, very important. Then mission innovation, I would say, right? A lot of these mission innovation schemes have come, like, say, CO2 capture from the cement industry. It has come. Right? When you talk about the water, global water, when you talk about the supply of the drinking water, you know, a lot of these schemes are already there. Not only it's a 1+1, but multinationals also, right? Other countries are also involved. Then Indo-German Science Technology Center, right? There are 2+2 schemes. So one industry partner here, one academic partner from India, and same thing, one industry and one academic partner from Germany. So this is giving a kind of, right, the interactions among the industries, interaction among the academic institutes, and I think these are very, very important, which is required. Then other side, when you talk about how R&D, right, because the research component has been made that application-wise, whether it is applicable to the society or applicable to the industry. It should not be just like you write the thesis and put it on yourself and then, right, publish the patent or papers. So impact of the research has been asked nowadays. So every paper, right, if it is published, what is the outcome of that? Or if the research is being done, what is the next level of this research? So what the question, right, TRL 3, TRL 5, the industries, right, they generally need the output in a short period of time. This is where I think this gap is to be bridged. And because research problem, when we start, so it depends on the type of the problem, right? So sometimes it may become fundamental research, but now fundamental to the next level, when you talk about TRL 1 to TRL 3, and TRL 3 to TRL 6 or 9, it takes time, right? And most of the time, right, it is felt that the academicians are doing only the teaching, but there are a lot of other works also, right? And this is what the industry and academia, I think, when the exchange of the, right, faculty should visit the industry, and industries, right, they should come to the academia, and they should teach the courses also. So this will also give a kind of, right, new kind of awareness about the what industries are doing, right? And this can be a professional courses like 100, 200 type courses. So off and on, these industrial personnel, they can come, they can deliver the lecture. Similarly, the students and faculty should also visit, right, for sabbatical, and this is also being opened. The idea is that when they visit the industry, they will understand, right, what work is being done. I'm not talking only for a student, but I'm saying the professors should also visit there and spend time. So this will give, I think, more and more collaborations between industry and academia. So multidisciplinary research, multidisciplinary, the collaborations within the country, and all IITs, all NITs, all universities. So this ANRF pair has come. This is the purpose that all institutes should be involved, right? Whatever their capability, whatever the infrastructure they have, that should be, right, the part of the research. The second thing very important which has come nowadays, a scheme called Saathi, right? So these are the units, because very costly equipments. Earlier days, these facilities were not available. Nowadays, iSTEM is the portal through which all these equipments can be used by anybody within the country, right? And same thing is being done abroad. So I think a lot of things are already being done, and some of these systems, like what I said, high risk, high reward, so penalty, all these things should also be implemented so that the responsibility of the key takers, whether it is from industry side or academic side, it will become. And that, I think definitely gradually the solution will come. And now a lot of the transformational research is already happening. Startups are being converted to the industry, technologies are being transferred. A lot of Section 8 companies are now in every academic institute, research institute they have, and I think the things are changing exponentially. And this is what Viksit Bharat 2047, which we are talking, self-reliant technology within the country. I am sure that these things will happen, and now the things are going exponentially. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Thank you, Dr. Pant. So I feel that if I can summarize that, what you mean is that we have to make our own trajectory in light of the global scenario, and we have to make our own course corrections. Thank you. Those very, very deep insights. I'll take this further on the global perspective, and to you, sir, Dr. Srivastav, my question would be that what are the right skills that our young researchers should be equipped with in order to thrive in a rapidly evolving global R&D ecosystem?
Young researcher you mentioned, I would like to rephrase it by saying that a researcher has to remain young in his mind always so that he can continue to explore new things and new avenues. Having said that, there are a few skills which I have to list out. I would say the first and foremost is to have the skill to skillfully question the norms, skillfully question the set patterns and the set knowledge about a particular material or about a particular experiment. Because every time a researcher will do an experiment, he'll get to know new things. He'll get to have some new idea about that particular material, which may or may not be known to him beforehand. So if he can afford to do that particular experimentation, he should do it instead of relying on what is written in the books, what is written in the various literatures, because there are various theories, various things which were discovered in the past and which are being questioned and are being revised in the evolving ecosystem. The second important part is, of course, there is a research problem, and based on that research problem, a product or a material is developed. But sometimes if that does not suit that particular research problem, you should have the skill of utilizing that material for the right application. You should have the right material for the application or right application for your material or for your product. It also helps in taking your efforts forward. And thirdly, which I am very firm in my opinion, which is to step out from the comfort zone of only getting into the publication of patents and papers and get into the entrepreneurship skills. Because in my lifetime of 3 decades that I have been there with Indian Oil R&D, I have interacted with a number of researchers from abroad who are associated with an academic institute, as well as they are having their own company. And in fact, when they come to India to talk to us, they come on behalf of their company to ensure that their research gets some outlet in the world. So that entrepreneurship skill, to have a holistic foresight of how your material or how your research should be doing a benefit to the world, and also that readiness to walk the path, is the skill which is required if we have to really compete with the best in the world.
Thank you, Dr. Mish. So I feel what you intend to say is that curiosity, questioning, adapting are the key skills that the youth should have. Thank you so much. Now that we've had some conversation into the innovations and the ecosystem, let us reflect on what effective partnerships mean to such ecosystem and the role that they play in elevating the R&D outcomes and therefore contributing to excellence, actually the theme for the session. So let me have quick comments from all of you on successful and established or also some newer models of collaboration between the different players of the R&D ecosystem, like government, academia, or industry? I'd start with you, Dr. Vibha.
I would say that, as he said, we should keep experimenting and asking the question why and how and what next. So even, where industry, academia, partnership models are concerned, of course, we've had those established models of collaboration, or maybe, just licensing it out to industry, to collaboration and co-development. Now, and of course, working on those areas which are of interest to industry, where the industry itself pays. But can we develop, the manpower and also the scientists who are able to tell the industry that, look, what you're doing is will not fetch you too much. If you move to another direction, maybe make a course correction, can you'd be able to, make better profit. So that's the kind of, I think, newer models that one has to look towards. Otherwise, of course, the models are well established. They are being practiced, in different ratios all across the country today. But yes, newer models where the scientists also are able to tell the industry, the academia is able to tell the industry that this is the direction you should be taking. So in that sense, the academia has to become an entrepreneur, think, and have the mindset of the industry also, so that they are able to give the right kind of advice and the right kind of direction to the industry. So that is another such model which I think now the academic institutions should move towards along with the industry. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Jain, your thoughts on the newer models of collaboration?
I think we have sufficient models for successful implementation or innovation. What recently I was disappointed with a project. There was a collaborative project which was proposed by an institute with an industry through ANRF funding. Initially, when they started, 10% of cash, 10% of the funding was supposed to be in cash and kind together. Later, when it was proposed, the terms and conditions were changed to 10% cash. But at the same time, the basic requirement was probably around 8 to 10 crores for the infrastructure as well as for the related expenses. But there are some desirable, or maybe you can add on few more equipments, and the projected cost went up to maybe 3 times higher. Industry, initially the institute had proposed 10%, and they have given a formula, and it was around 60 lakhs of funding in cash and balance in kind. In kind means advisory as well as material testing, all those things put together. So this was very well accepted, and immediately it was sanctioned, LOS was given. But when it went for ANRF approval, the 10% in cash came as a question. If institute had stuck on to what is essential, it would have been passed very easily. But 6 times increase in the cash requirement raised a lot of issues and wanted a lot more justifications to happen for getting the fund approval, which took time, and project came to an hold. So in future cases, can we define the requirements under essential, desirable, can also be bought, those kind of things, and give weightage for the funding support.
Sure, sir.
So that it
I
becomes
think
easier.
that point is fairly taken, and I'm sure this would be considered in the future models within the NRF system. Now, since we're running out of time, I'd like to formally close this and say that it's been a deeply engaging session. And let me just end with the thought that leveraging the strengths of public funded institutions, creating these effective collaborations in solving the unmet needs and the challenges to be addressed are the cornerstones of any R&D ecosystem. And more so in the context of Viksit Bharat 2047 vision, we must foster these partnerships, especially with the industry, in order to derive the outcomes in excellence R&D outcomes. So I'm honored to have moderated this session for this esteemed panel, and a special thank you to all the speakers, and thank you to the organizers for having us here. Thank you.
Yeah, there are many technologies for capturing carbon known in the literature, available in the world, readily available on the market. Capturing carbon is not difficult. What is difficult is what will we do with that captured carbon? So if you have a solution, or if you have any thought on what we will be doing with that carbon, we of course have a few solutions we discuss offline. Those can be implemented. And Indian Oil also has a technology. So because of the paucity of time, I'll not like to deliberate on that, but we'll interact outside. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to all the esteemed panelists for your inspiring words and sharing your perspectives on R&D partnerships, building co-innovations ecosystems. May I now request if you can please step forward for a group photograph, please. Thank you. Thank you so much to all the esteemed panelists. This brings us to the close of this session. We will immediately enter into the next executive plenary that is celebrating innovation, IP, and creativity and their global impact. Stay tuned.
We request everyone to be seated, please. We'll shortly start the session now. May I request everyone to be kindly seated, please? We are going to start the last session. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to this very special session of the 15th Global Innovation and Intellectual Property Summit. Today, as we celebrate World Intellectual Property Day and World Creativity and Innovation Day, we come together to honor the spirit of human ingenuity, the ideas, designs, technologies, and solutions that are transforming industries, economies, and societies around the world. And we are so privileged and honored to be joined by an extraordinary panel of global leaders, visionaries, and change makers. It is my great honor to now invite our distinguished dignitaries, Mr. Darren Tang, Director General of the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, Dr. Udyan Malhotra, Chairman, CII National Committee on Design, Innovation, and CEO and Managing Director, Dynamatic Technologies Limited, Mr. Masood Malik, Chairman, CII National Committee on Waste to Worth Technologies and Managing Director and Group CEO, RE Sustainability Limited, and Dr. Ashish Mohan, Executive Director, CII. A very warm welcome to all our esteemed dignitaries, and thank you for joining us. To formally commence this session, I now have the pleasure of inviting Dr. Udyan Malhotra, Chairman, CII National Committee on Design, Innovation, and CEO and Managing Director, Dynamatic Technologies, to kindly give the welcome address. Sir, over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of CII, it's a true privilege to welcome all of you to this special plenary session commemorating World Intellectual Property and Innovation and Creativity Day. We're deeply honored to have with us today Dr. David Tang, Director General, WIPO, Professor Unat Pandit, Controller General of Patents, Designs, Trademarks, Government of India, Mr. Masood Malik, Chairman, CII National Committee on Waste to Worth Technologies and MD and Group CEO, RE Sustainability Limited. CII is proud to be associated with WIPO across multiple innovation and IP initiatives that are shaping the future of global competitiveness, be it the GII, which has become a benchmark for countries to measure and improve their innovation ecosystems, or pioneering work in IP valuation and promotion. Mr. Darren Tang, your leadership, vision, and steadfast approach have been invaluable to these collaborations. We look forward to deepening this partnership further and working together to create ecosystems where innovation is not only protected, but also nurtured, scaled, and made more inclusive. We're also proud to be closely associated with the Office of Controller General of Patents, Designs, and Trademarks across several key innovation and IP initiatives that are driving India's transformation into an innovation-led economy. Professor Unat Pandit, your dynamic leadership has brought remarkable energy to India's IP ecosystem, making it more accessible, responsive, and aligned with the aspiration of a new generation of entrepreneurs, innovators, and startups. CII deeply values your partnership and remains committed to working closely with your office to advance India's innovation and IP journey. Innovation is no longer a siloed activity. It is now the very foundation of global competitiveness, economic security, and societal progress. Whether it's addressing climate change, public health, or digital inclusion, innovation offers the solutions we need for a better tomorrow. IP, in turn, plays a vital role in incentivizing and protecting these innovations, giving creators the confidence that their ideas will be valued and rewarded. India's innovation ecosystem has undergone a remarkable transformation in the last decade. From being ranked 81st in the Global Innovation Index in 2015 to achieving 39th rank in 2024, India has consistently moved upward, the fastest growing amongst major economies. And we have set our sights on much higher and better things. WIPO's GII 2024 also reaffirms India's position as the most innovative economy in Central and Southern Asia. What's particularly noteworthy is the rise in domestic patent filings, now outpacing foreign filings. This points to a growing culture of local innovation driven by startups, academia, and industry. Our emphasis on affordable innovation, frugal engineering, and grassroots creativity is receiving global recognition. IP is no longer the preserve of large corporations. It is now an enabler for rural artisans and student innovators to digital startups and women entrepreneurs. In India, we've seen a surge in GI registrations that celebrate our cultural heritage and traditional knowledge. As we move forward, we must continue to democratize innovation, ensuring that everyone, regardless of geography or background, has the tools, support, and opportunity to innovate and to protect their ideas. In this spirit, let's work together to build an IP-driven innovation economy that's sustainable, inclusive, and globally influential. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. May I now invite Mr. Masood Malik, Chairman, CII National Committee on Waste Toward Technologies, and Managing Director and Group CEO, RE Sustainability Limited, to kindly share special address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There's a quiet revolution unfolding across India. In every lab, in every startup hub, in every workshop, in so many basements across the country. This evening, we honor the spark that fuels it. We honor creativity, we honor innovation, and the intellectual property that binds them. It's a real pleasure and honor for me to be here today, especially as we gather here in New Delhi to celebrate World Intellectual Property, Innovation, and Creativity Day. We are especially honored by the presence of Dr. Darren Tang, Director General of WIPO. Dr. Tang, your leadership has shown the world that IP is not just legal infrastructure. It's about building economies. It's about fostering sustainable growth and driving real inclusive progress globally and also right here in India. Today, we focus on three forces that are shaping the world: creativity, innovation, and the IP that connects creativity with innovation. I think of them as the engine, the fuel, and the roadmap, the path that we take. Intellectual property is obviously very crucial to this equation. It helps brilliant ideas move from concept to reality, providing not just the confidence, but also helping access to capital and the legal protection for those technologies to scale. Whether from a lab, a garage, or a village workshop, IP helps ideas grow. In a more connected and complex world, IP frameworks must do two things. The first, it must protect the innovator, but it must also foster collaboration, especially when there are solutions required for addressing global challenges such as climate change, public health issues, the Sustainable Development Goals. And that's where the element of equity in IP also comes in. We're already seeing this globally, many platforms that are allowing flow of IP preferentially into areas that need them, from renewable energy systems to AI-driven tools. And here in India, finally, we are not just participating. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now pioneering. Our government's policy push is strong, and the response from our industries and our startups is even stronger. Take Startup India, for example. It's not just encouraging entrepreneurs, but it's providing active support on IP filing, on its protection, and on scaling of businesses. And it's working. You heard about, that in 2022-23, for the very first time, domestic patent filings were 58% of all patents filed. The fact is that Dr. Pandit will probably tell you far more by way of impressive statistics. But in the last 5 years, domestic patent filings overall have increased by over 50%. That's powerful proof of our innovation ecosystem maturing. And it doesn't just stop at policy. If you look at actual missions, like the Swachh Bharat mission, look at the IP-protected innovations that are spurring sustainability, whether it's waste to energy, whether it is plastics on road, whether it's biomethanation, whether it is advanced composting technologies. We are seeing more and more waste turn into resources. We are creating jobs, we are cleaning up cities, we are generating new value. And as the chairman of the Waste to Worth platform at CII, I can tell you that it's a very special time for us. We are able to bring together corporates, startups, municipalities, research institutions, working together to accelerate our collective shift to a more circular economy. And IP is absolutely at the center of this transformation, ensuring that the innovations powering this shift are protected and are supported. Our goal is very clear: move from a linear take, make, throw economy, one that a country like India cannot afford, to a truly circular economy. And this transformation depends on constant innovation and on robust IP mechanisms to protect and reward the creators of this IP. As we look ahead, our mission must remain focused. We have to strengthen the connection between innovation, IP, and tangible development, not just in theory, but development that creates livelihoods, that improves the quality of life, that preserves the planet. So today, on this very special day, let's not just celebrate innovation. Let's champion it. Let's ensure that the next wave of Indian innovation, powered by IP and real impactful business strategies, goes beyond just profit and powers purpose-driven growth. The ideas are here. The talent is here. The need is here. And the time is now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was indeed insightful. And now, it's my absolute honor to invite Mr. Darren Tang, Director General, World Intellectual Property Organization, to deliver the World Intellectual Property Day address. Sir, over to you.
Dr. Dayan Malhotra, Chairman of the CII National Committee on Design Innovation, Mr. Masood Malik, Chairman of the CII National Committee on Waste to Worth Technologies, Dr. Unat Pandit, Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks at the Indian Patent Office, and Dr. Ashish Mohan, CII Executive Director of Technology, R&D, Innovation and Design. Dear colleagues, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, namaste. It is a great pleasure to be back here in Delhi, 2 years after I first visited, and to be with dear friends and partners here at the CII. Thank you for the warm hospitality. I mean it quite literally, the weather is quite warm today, and for choosing to celebrate World IP Day at this summit. Back in 1999, WIPO member states agreed to make April 26, the day the WIPO Convention was first signed, as a moment for the world to come together to recognize and remember the power of intellectual property. And from these humble beginnings, World IP Day has evolved into a truly global celebration, and I'm very happy that India and CII has joined us today to celebrate this important day. But this moment is also special for another occasion. In just 2 days' time, we will celebrate the 50th anniversary of WIPO-India relations, because on 1st May 1975, India joined WIPO officially as a member state. And India's IP journey over these past 50 years has been an inspiration for what can happen when we unleash the power of innovation and creativity. In just the past 10 years, the number of IP applications in India has more than doubled, from 250,000 to over 600,000. Patent filings have increased by 110%, trademark filings by 150%, and design filings by 230%. These are remarkable figures, and India, in fact, is now the 4th largest filer in the world for trademarks, 6th largest for patents, and 10th largest for designs. But beyond numbers, a major milestone was achieved in 2023, and I think both the speakers mentioned this, when for the first time, more patent applications were filed by Indian innovators versus foreign innovators, demonstrating that India's innovation engine is increasingly driven by Indian ideas, Indian dynamism, Indian ingenuity, Indian imagination, and Indian innovators. Congratulations to India for this amazing achievement. And it's worth taking some time to examine the scale of this shift. Resident patent filings in India have multiplied more than 20 times since 2000. And this growth isn't just limited to patents but other types of IP. Between 2017 and 2023, resident trademark filings nearly doubled, and resident industrial design filings more than tripled. More and more Indian businesses are using the IP system to take their ideas to the market, find collaborators, attract investors, and bring Indian ideas to the world. International patent applications under WIPO's PCT treaty rose almost 200% between 2017 and 2024. And filings under the Madrid system for trademarks more than doubled over the same period. And this is Prime Minister Modi's Make in India vision, and the vision of all of you coming alive. This growth is turning India into one of the world's most powerful IP engines, helping Indian businesses and products enter and thrive in global markets and accelerating the journey to Viksit Bharat 2047. Since we have a time today, I'd like to share some reflections on what have been the key drivers behind this growth. First, India's robust economic performance has created fertile ground for greater innovation investments. And despite economic uncertainties, the IMF has predicted Indian growth of 6.2% this year, double the global rate and 4 times the projection for advanced economies. Second, there is strong and consistent leadership from the top, pushing India along the innovation path. To quote Prime Minister Modi, ideate in India, innovate in India, make in India, and make for the world. And this leadership is also exhibited at the CII level, where many of your leaders are also encouraging many of you to pursue innovation, creativity, and IP as a way to grow your business. And what we are seeing is that across the whole of India, this message is resonating with innovators, creators, researchers, financiers, and entrepreneurs alike. Third, the 2016 National IP Policy has also made a big difference, streamlining administrative systems and helping to raise public awareness of the benefits of IP. And I'm very pleased that some of the speakers mentioned not just industrial IP, but also other types of IP like geographical indications and other ways in which we can support the rural communities, the agricultural communities, because IP should be for all and should be brought down to the grassroots. Fourth, India's innovation strengths in pharmaceuticals and IT mean that IP already plays a vital role in your key industries, a feature that the new manufacturing mission will only strengthen. But I'd like to highlight a fifth factor, history and culture. India has a long-standing cultural reverence for knowledge, discovery, and ideas. India's ancient and historical thinkers, philosophers, sages, and inventors have given the world profound contributions, from the decimal system and binary numbers
to heliocentric theory, early urban design, and the wisdom of Ayurveda. And let us not forget Jugaad, the art of creative problem solving and resourcefulness that's a source of national pride, including among younger Indians. And I believe this attitude towards innovation is driving India's focus also on frugal innovation, frugal engineering, which is very unique to Indian innovation. But this proud heritage of human ingenuity and inventiveness continues to influence Indian innovation today. One example is India's thriving startup scene. The country now boasts the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. This comprises over 100,000 startups and more than 70 unicorns, with venture capital deals growing at more than 15% a year. Companies like Zomato, Nika, Swiggy, and Razorpay capture how a new generation of Indian entrepreneurs and enterprises are showing the way to the future. And all of these factors are helping India to become one of the fastest climbers in WIPO's Global Innovation Index, rising from 81st place in 2015 to 39th position last year, a very difficult achievement given the size of the country. Aga irada sahi ho, to raste kute hai. India also performs above expectations for its level of development, leading the world in areas like domestic market scale and export of ICT services. Innovation outputs also exceeds GDP-based predictions. And when I visited India in 2023, I saw for myself how transformation is happening on the ground at the grassroots level through the Atal Innovation Mission's work in the Delhi Public School. These programs, which reach the minds of millions of young Indian children and youths, are now being used by WIPO as a role model for other countries to foster innovation amongst the young population as well, including countries like Nigeria, Uganda, and Chile, and many, many more to come. India has also built world-class science and technology clusters in Bengaluru, Delhi, Chennai, and Mumbai. These hubs, all part of WIPO's list of the world's largest science and technology clusters, are pushing the boundaries in digital communications, IT, engineering, and transport. And the resulting benefits are felt around the world. Companies like Tata have major R&D centers worldwide. The Adani Group is building the largest renewables plant in the world, and growing enterprises like Live and Sense, Varaha, and Skyroot are driving cleaner and more productive outcomes in heavy industry, agriculture, and even in space. As meaningful as this growth has been, the road ahead demands continued effort. Fresh investments in research and development, stronger talent pipelines, and effective systems for moving technology from lab to market, from an idea to society, are all required to sustain the momentum India has built up over the last 50 years. At the same time, the very nature of innovation is evolving and changing. 1/3 of all global patent filings are now connected to digital technologies, AI, quantum computing, IoT, cybersecurity, and more. Last year, digital communications overtook computer technology as the leading field in international patent filings. This tells us that industries everywhere are going digital fast. We're also seeing the lines blur between industrial and digital innovation. Transportation is one example. A recent WIPO report shows that nearly 1 in 4 transport-related patents now involve digital technologies, a 10-fold increase over 2 decades, with India being one of the leading drivers. We find that the future of mobility, once considered a purely industrial sector, is being shaped by digitalization and by sustainability. And this is not just in industry. In India's media and entertainment sector, we are seeing digital transformation reshape the creative economy. This sector grew by 3.3% last year, reaching 2.5 trillion Indian rupees, 16 times what it was valued in the year 2000. Digital is leading the way, increasing by more than 11% last year to become the main media and entertainment driver for the first time. These trends are creating new opportunities for Indian content creators, filmmakers, musicians, and entrepreneurs. Indian creators like Riaz Ali and Prajakta Kohli produce 200,000 hours of content last year, reaching domestic audiences across more than 750 million screens. WIPO data identifies the Indian film industry as the world's most vibrant film industry, led by hits like RRR, La Pata Ladies, and Srikanth, and producing nearly 3 times as many feature films as Hollywood does per year. And creative service exports have grown at an annual rate of over 10% in recent years, rising in value from $6.6 billion in 2013 to $16 billion in 2022. Today, this power of digital continues to flow into new creative expressions, carried by artists who honor tradition while innovating. Anushka Shankar, with her spellbinding mastery of the sitar, has forged paths between classical Indian sounds and global contemporary music. A.R. Rahman's soaring compositions blend Indian melodies with cinematic grandeur, speaking to audiences around the world. Even in the Indian indie movie music scene, Pratik Kuhat channels the emotional depth of Indian melodies into fresh, modern expressions. So it's not a surprise to find Spotify reporting that streams of Indian artists like Arijit Singh, Pritam, and Shreya Ghoshal have grown by more than 2,000% in international markets in recent years. And all these numbers speak to not just India's creative vitality, but a rising appetite for Indian culture around the world. Yet for many musicians in all parts of the world, making a living remains difficult. Behind every global star are thousands of creators who are working tirelessly to sustain their careers and struggling sometimes. So we are very pleased that this year we wanted to bring the theme of World IP Day to these musicians and creators, and therefore we decided that the theme would be IP and music. And for me, as a musician myself, I used to play jazz piano until my father stopped me in true Asian tradition style. Young man, don't be a musician, be a lawyer, don't make your passion your profession. I think many of you probably have the same experiences from your parents, from home as well. But music remains close to my heart. So WIPO is offering support not just to innovators in India, but also to creators. Through projects like CLIP, Creators Learn IP, a free online platform where older musicians are mentoring younger musicians on how to use IP, data, and technology to earn a living as a musician. At the same time, we have initiated work on IP and artificial intelligence to allow India and other WIPO members to find the right balance in harnessing the power of IP to further boost innovation and creativity while always maintaining the human creator, the human innovator, and the human being at the center of our economy and society and IP system. We invite CII to be involved in these discussions to shape the future of IP. And of course, I'm very pleased to hear the comments from Dr. Malik as well as Dr. Malhotra that India focuses on an inclusive IP ecosystem, one where we are supporting not just the biggest companies, but also innovation at the grassroots level. This is very close to my heart and to the vision of WIPO as well, because we need IP to be for everyone, everywhere, and not just for those who are privileged enough to have a head start in the IP system. So you can count on WIPO support to help working closely with India to truly bring IP, not just to the grassroots in India, but throughout the whole of the world as well. In conclusion, India's IP journey over the past 5 decades has been one of extraordinary resilience, growth, and dynamism, serving as an inspiration for more and more countries. But this 50 years achievement must also be seen in the context of India's ancient and long-standing respect and love of knowledge, inquiry, curiosity, and invention, a period where Indian ideas have traveled the world and changed the world as well. Today, we are seeing a renaissance of this ancient spirit of Indian innovation in the form of the Viksit Bharat 2047 vision, this time fortified by the powerful tools of IP as a catalyst for growth and development, and with a strong partner in WIPO who pledges to accompany and support CII, Indian industry, and India on this exciting journey for the next 50 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tang, for your inspiring and visionary words. To formally conclude this exclusive plenary, I now invite Dr. Ashish Mohan, Executive Director, Confederation of Indian Industry, to share brief highlights on the CII National IP movement and deliver vote of thanks. Sir, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tang. That was a wonderful, extremely inspiring address, and we actually set a long vision and a roadmap through your address, and we are committed to make this vision happen through the joint efforts of CII and WIPO. Thank you. Thank you for being with us and giving your time to us today. I would like to formally submit a vote of thanks on behalf of CII and various office bearers as well. Thank you, Dr. Tang. As I said, you mentioned about the 50 years of India and WIPO collaboration, a moment definitely to celebrate and take forward the strong collaboration and association that the two institutions are having with each other. CII will definitely enable the best to come out from the Indian industry to make it happen further. Thank you. You talked about increase in the patent filings, increase in the design sector. You also talked about the traditional knowledge and geographical indicators, all of the sectors where you have been personally advising and guiding CII on many fronts. These are all instrumental in making India take these steps in its journey to Viksit Bharat. Thank you so much. You also mentioned about the world-class science and technology clusters, Bangalore city, something very close to our chairman as well. Hyderabad you mentioned, and so these are strong science and technology clusters. We will work through these clusters and come together with a strong technocrat plan to work on the IP initiatives. Overall, along with the theme of WIPO this year, the music industry, and you mentioned other industries as well, will connect all the industry members of India in various sectors to work together as a strong entity along with the WIPO initiatives. So your presence here actually inspires us. I thank you for your time and guidance to that. I'll also take this opportunity to quickly submit vote of thanks to our two chairmen here. Thank you, Mr. Masood Malik, for giving your time, sir. You spoke about how the audience and how Indian domestic patent is working toward, domestic sector is working towards patent excellence. Thank you. We are committed to make it go further together on this. Interestingly, you spoke about creativity, innovation, and IP as engine, fuel, and roadmap. That is an excellent analogy somewhere, and we will draw some kind of a blueprint for our further strategies on that. Thank you so much. And finally, we would like to submit thank you to our very dear chairman of design and innovation sector, Mr. Udyant Malhotra. Thank you, sir. You talked about artificial intelligence and being pioneer in various sectors like artisans and for handicrafts and design and creativity to touch all the aspects of Indian industry and human life. Together, under your leadership, under leadership of all of you, we will make it happen, and the fraternity stands together to celebrate IP and to celebrate the journey of consistent rise in the innovation index, which WIPO has been guiding us and leading us in this journey. On behalf of all of us, thank you all. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank my colleagues and other audience who have all the members of the fraternity who are present here, who made it happen, a strong team of CII Secretariat staff and various members of CII who are always there to help us and to guide us. Also from your office, we work so closely with David, and I cannot leave the forum without thanking him. So thank you to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Tan. May I now request a group photograph? We'll request two photographs, one of the dignitaries on the dais and one with the CII team as well. Thank you.
Here we go, please.
One with the chairs only. May I request the CII team to come on the dais? All the CII staff kindly don't hesitate and make it fast. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. With this, we come to the close of the 15th CII Global Innovation and IP Summit. And on behalf of CII, I would like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to all our distinguished speakers, panelists, panel members, supporters, and esteemed participants. Thank you. I'd also like to thank my co-anchors, Shwetab and Nitish, for carrying the day quite well. Thank you.